Hey everyone, today's Friday. I already recorded an episode for today, which will probably be released on Monday. That was in the morning. I got a bit more free time than I expected. I already recorded and published a tutorial for applied energistics on 1.12. Let me tell you, 1.12 is so much slower than 1.18. Takes like 5 times as long to load, open the world, all that good stuff. I'm not sure if this is going to be a full bonus episode or if I'm just going to splice it onto my episode for Monday. But what I should do and what I'm going to do today is upload 6.2. I'm hoping this fixes some of the issues people were having. I'm going to work on getting the sneaky ore server bug fixed. Yeah, wish me luck on that one. I guess you'll know come Monday if I fixed it or not. The other thing about deving 1.12, no reload. You have to reboot the pack every time you made a change. There was like 5 minutes between loads. So you need to be pretty darn sure you're ready for a reload. Alright, so I think we fixed the server problem. There were two ores, the ancient debris and nether gold, that were causing issues on server sometimes. I just deleted the excavated variants from trying to make variants of those. I'm also using Markdown in the Visual Studio Code. Thanks for that tip, by the way. And there's also a preview button now. I don't know if there was before or not, but so this is working great. Now, I did update Forge. I'm not sure if that means I have to change anything with the server files, but I'm going to assume no for now, until it doesn't work. This is a cool feature about this particular method of how I interface with GitHub. If I just type in fixes number 25, which is the where'd it go? Yeah, here. This issue here, it will, okay, so I'm going to commit. I'm going to push, and then it should automatically close this, and it will reference the commit. So you can basically use that to close issues, and then also if you're the one with the issue, you can see exactly what fixed your issue. Alright, so I decided to craft the windmill because I'm pretty sure I can't really expand my setup very much more without more rotational power. The next step after that, I believe, is going to be aiming for the rotational speed controller. I would say those are pretty much hand in hand, because the windmill is extremely slow, but it has very high amount of stress units it outputs. Now, I also decided, I've been thinking this for a while, this is too cheap. So check out the new recipe. And there we go. Uses more treated wood, more stone, and a turntable instead of just a single piece of stone. Or doubling feels so good. I also started setting up treated wood automation. So this will pull the creosote and then pull it again, squirt it onto some planks, and we got ourselves some treated wood. We are low on silver for electrum. Alright, so I'm going to make some stone alloy with this recipe. It's a lot more efficient, even though it's super cheap. I'm planning on turning it into shafts as well. Let me just grab what I can. It's kind of an annoying setup, I'm not gonna lie. We have got creosote oil. Now, this is a very quick and easy way to automate treated wood. There's other ways to do it as well. Like if you have the immersive engineering crafter, but this works excellent. We can just expand this tank as needed. I'm also going to make the workbench. Alright. Now, this does give you some cool rewards. Another can of biodiesel, and then some rewards here. So we can get pressurized air tank. This allows you to dig underwater. Large tank. I forget what advanced lubrication does. Let me see if I can pull it up. This reduces the damage, so effectively gives it unbreaking. I'm pretty sure the augers are the best, so we're gonna grab that. We're gonna modify our drill with the augers. And the coolest part about this is it actually changes the model. Like, look at the drill head here. Look at that. How cool is that? So it's going to be a while before I finish chapter 2. Let's be real. I'm going to do, after I get windmill, rotational speed controller, I'm planning on getting the ore sorting machine automated, the drilling machine, those are 2 top priorities, and then the imbuement chamber so I can get the ore sorting machine in the first place, as well as applied energistics. This is going to require power. I don't really like having this treated wood stuff, because I'm pretty sure you never use this. Unless you know, grab a miniaturized Tesla coil. I'm back down in the mine. I need to get some coal for coke coal eventually, and so I can have a little bit more buffer of creosote oil. I saw some coal over here. I'm hoping that the new pour ore fragments isn't clogging the inventory. So definitely give me some feedback on that when the update comes out. Alright, well we got 4 coal. So that's not nothing, but it's basically nothing. Got ourselves a windmill. Well, that's interesting. So I just switched this attribute filter to only allow things that can't be washed. Decided to clean up those blossom trees, the floating leaves over here. So mechanical saws need to be rotating the opposite way as the belt because they input and output on specific sides. The easiest way to make that happen is just with a triple gearbox, in my experience. In this case, the third gearbox isn't necessarily required because this mechanical belt side is already spinning. I'm going to use that spot for a deployer instead. So this setup is going to serve dual purpose. Its primary use is going to be for making andesite casings, but its secondary use is going to be for making shafts. So, because I can just put some andesite case or some stone alloy into this barrel, it'll get cut into shafts. Although now that I think about it, that actually will not work because it's going to make those scaffolding, stairs, etc. Alright, so I've adjusted this so it will be able to be used for anything that can be smelted. However, I want to make sure that only seared bricks can go here. The question is if it will make sure that no seared bricks come out of this side or if it will still split. And we have some seared bricks handy, so let's see what happens if I just drop some seared bricks. Oh, that's not going to work because they can be smelted. Oh, right. So this is actually different. Can be smelted in a blast furnace is different. So we should be fine. Alright, so let's see what happens. I'm going to throw these seared bricks here. Okay, they did all go this way. So I think I'm going to have to do some sort of filter so that everything goes this way and then half the seared bricks go this way. All right, so I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I've got seared brick in both and then an empty attribute filter in one. So in theory, this will allow anything and seared bricks, and this will just allow seared bricks. So we'll do another 2. So in theory, it'll split 1 to each. Perfect. And it'll also allow me to smelt up my stone. I just realized stone can be smelted as well. So that actually won't necessarily work. Because it'll go to stone and then it'll smelt into smooth stone. Yup, there it is. That's fine though. Apparently you can't sleep while burning. Strange. Behold the alloy maker slash crusher. I really should just get a blaze burner. Alright, so this contraption will take ingots and basically alloy them together. Now, you do have to make sure you do it in the proper orders. And you can also do, let's see, zinc and copper, because it'll only fit 16 at a time. So we'll do 16 of each, and then I think we want to throw the copper in second. So I'm pretty sure it's like 2 to 1. So we'll do zinc copper. And then turn this on. That could be a brass funnel. But I think we'll live. Alright. There we go. Brass dust. Alright, we have a windmill. It's a little bit awkward. But it doubled our stress capacity. Right now, I'm just kind of merging them. Again, a little bit awkward. Once we get the rotational speed controller, that all should be kind of fixed. I was watching some of episode 7, I think it was, and I realized it's not particularly enjoyable to watch someone try to make a create build. So I'm going to try to keep my create builds off camera for the most part. Alright, well that's going to be it for this episode. I've got wind power, I've got a little bit of semi-automatic manual processing. I think I've got automated treated wood. So, yeah, not bad progress. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday for me, and got myself a cup of coffee. About to craft my first drawer. I don't have oak wood, so I'm going to use framed drawers. I wonder if these will be consumed. I assume yes. So this might be an expensive drawer, but we'll give it a shot. It's an expensive drawer, but it looks fabulous. Nice. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this placeable items mod is kind of getting on my nerves. I'm gonna remove it. Wow, look at this trade. 2 emeralds to 1 gold. Nice. Alright, so placeable items is no longer in the pack. Alright, well I'm not really sure what the issue is here, but I did just update Modern Fix and Embedium, and the game lagged out. So I'm gonna roll those back. Now, it's very possible that it was basically just a coincidence, and it could just be like the fact that I removed placeable items. You really never know. One of the joys of pack deving. So this method of making bread is significantly more efficient. I think I had like 50 something wheat, and I'm gonna have a stack and like a half bread, as opposed to just, what would that be, something like 20 or less than 20 bread. I remember one of the best foods that I had my last playthrough was dumplings. It's just dough. Maybe I should not cook this actually. Oh yeah, hold on. Maybe I'll just cook the spares. Cabbage, onion, and meat or mushroom. I don't know if I have... Oh no, something else, wasn't it? This is what I had, cabbage rolls. These are literally like almost anything and cabbage. And they're not terrible. Turns out I need basically everything for this cooking pot. It almost feels too easy to have 2x as your first upgrade. I feel like it almost should be 1.5x. Like, that would almost make more sense. Alright, so we got ourselves some bricks. We've got the shovel, the bucket, and we're working on the iron ingots right now. There we go. Cooking pot. Just need to grow some cabbage, and then some onions, and yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, cut up some meat. Alright, I don't have any mushrooms right now, so I'm gonna have to just make some patties. This is just to double your meat, basically. Throw them in here, and we should be good. Some things require like a secondary item, like bowls, jars. This is not one of those items. This is such a good food. Alright, so I was thinking about chapter 2 some between episodes. And I feel like power shouldn't be unlocked in this tier. Or this chapter. Like, this chapter is so busy right now. I mean, you've got create tier 2, you've got like thermal tier 1, you've got field projectors, you've got applied energistics, Ars Novu, Nature's Aura, and the Foundry, of course. And applied energistics. I think I might have said that, but if I didn't, there you go. So, chapter 3, you've got Mana and Artifice, which is very poorly implemented at this particular moment. You've got Deep Mob Learning, which I don't feel like is too big of a split. You've got some Elemental Craft, but primarily you're looking at Immersive. I think this is how I did it in the first one. I had like a main tech mod and then auxiliary magic mods and other things unlocked. Primary mod in this, Pneumaticraft, Botania, again, tangentially attached. It's not even part of the chapter, it's part of the or octupling. And then in this one we've got primarily mechanism and industrial foregoing. Chapter 6 is looking real sparse, but it has essentially tier 2 mechanism and industrial foregoing. I've kind of merged them together. Chapter 7 has pretty much entirely custom items. Now, I could move something backwards a tier. For example, I could say, hey, you get Ars Novu in chapter 1, or I could say, hey, you get power in chapter 1, or something like that. That reminds me, I don't know if this should require diamonds here. Yeah, I want to say I changed one of these recipes recently from a 4x to a 1x. I think it might have been the base. I might replace these diamonds with source gems or something like that. Because needing 8 diamonds to progress here feels a little bit awkward. Maybe I'll do diamonds or source gems. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use diamonds or source gems. So the easy way to do that is to just make this an array. So if I do like this, we're good. All right, there we go. Now we can use diamonds or source gems. This is a lot easier to get, but it requires more crafting, so I feel like that's acceptable. All right, so power. I feel like this is maybe something that shouldn't exist in this chapter. However, the problem that I feel like I would have if I move power and then say these guys to chapter 2, which I honestly don't mind 2 chapters without power, is there's really no room to put them here. I mean, to be fair, you don't need to do, I would say, everything in this chapter, but the main quest line, it looks like this. It goes pretty much straight here. The industrial alloy does require fermenting, mixing, and then you'll need the bottling machine. You pretty much need the crusher as well. So one solution I thought of was to remove power from the pack entirely. I really like these energy cables. They can just be walked through. Very cool. solar panels, um, huh. I was planning on removing the solar panels and only using these solar panels. The basic one is 60. That's like the equivalent of 2 solar panel tier 3s. This makes 2K. Wow. So by the time it gets to 6, it's better than it. Alright, so option number 1, I feel like, is remove power from the mod entirely. I don't really like this because I enjoy the items. It's just kind of a convenient thing to have in the pack, I feel like. Just some intermediate items. I also like that it has it has like very clean usage. However, this is an annoying crafter, I feel like. It's just a pain. You gotta do things in an annoying way. Plus, the smart noob already made all these recipes for it. This might be a step that's bigger than I want, but I could add another chapter here. Honestly, this is too much. And maybe I'm the only one to feel that way because I don't have a lot of time, typically, to work on it, to actually play. But I really do feel like this is too much in one chapter. I feel like chapter 3 is honestly equally as big. I mean, the main progression tree is a lot smaller, but the auxiliary stuff, like the stuff you unlock here, is pretty huge. I mean, you unlock, I would say tier 2 applied. You unlock applied energistic stuff kind of throughout. You unlock the machine frames and all sorts of stuff. And then the chapter 4 feels a little contained. Like you don't really unlock anything here. And I feel like part of the reason why I don't have very much unlocked after this is because a lot of the stuff you're unlocking almost feels like required to enjoy the pack. Like resource generation or just convenience. So I feel almost bad unlocking it later on. Of course, we could do like deep mob learning later on, um, without too much hassle. To be fair, right now we have this section here, like with Powa and Arsenovu, field projector. This all is like auxiliary. Like if you look at this, it only requires scorched bricks and then some nature's aura. Oh, it does require hardened capacitors. Okay, well, let me just link this really quick, just before I forget. Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me. Yeah, I feel like between chapters 2 and 3, there's easily an extra chapter worth of content. I would push the Arc Furnace questline, immersive questline, to chapter 4. I would essentially just rename all the chapters, and then the chapter 7 stuff would go into chapter 6. Or I should say, the chapter 6 stuff would go into chapter 7. 5 to 6, 4 to 5, 3 to 4. And then I would take probably like all of this stuff would go there. I would say, yeah, pretty much all of this stuff. I do like the idea of field projectors early, and I do like the idea of them unlocking a thing like the natural altar, for example, or the imbuement chamber, something that you don't craft a ton of, similar to how I did the blood magic in the first Multiblock Madness. My record key also closes the quest book, so it's kind of annoying having to open it every time. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this. So essentially just chapter 3, pretty much rework the entirety of chapter 3, move some stuff backwards. Some stuff will stay in chapter 3, and then, but this auxiliary section of chapter 2, I think I'll move into chapter 3. That will essentially make chapter 6 done, ironically enough. So this will be the last chapter stuff. And then honestly, that might mean I end up adding another chapter. But for now, let's just do this. All right. So these things are going to require iridium and or palladium. All right, so we're going to do this. This might be, again, this might be a dumb thing to do. But I just feel like there's too much content in chapter 2. Actually, I don't want to move everything from chapter 3. Yeah, I do. All right, so chapter 2. Now, this is going to require me to change a few recipes as well. The capacitor, energetic alloy, yeah, all this good stuff. So let's see. We're going to say, we're going to move all of these to chapter 3. And I think I'm also going to do, that looks much emptier. All right. So I think I'm going to do, let me think here. Salvaging table. Yeah, this should allow me to have a bit of a deeper dive into nature's aura. Yeah. I mean, this feels better, I would say. Maybe I do keep something. And maybe this was the wrong move, but we'll see. I also feel like, man, so if steel is here. The main problem with making this change is there's not... Oh, you know what? Actually, there is the induction smelter. I don't know if I would want to have this as a gate, but having this as, yeah, this actually does make sense. Huh. Wow, that's getting annoying. I wonder if I can change that hotkey. But yeah, so if I use the induction smelter, let's just add that real quick. As the gate for this chapter. I mean, to be fair, that would change. This change would be honestly pretty massive. Also, right now the foundry, or I should say the smeltery, is unlocked at the same time. So the smeltery feels lower tech than the induction smelter. And I don't think I can really paralyze these chapters necessarily. The other thing too is if I do this, I would need to shift a ton of metal and alloys. Like, for example, this is chapter 4 right now. Aluminum alloys would be a tier 3 metal in this particular case, if I do this. It does feel like a pretty big change. I mean, it might give you a nice break between building like create multi-blocks and then immersive multi-blocks. But it does feel like almost like a tech jump backwards to some extent, potentially. It also means I would need to move like steel back a tier, which isn't the end of the world. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. All right, how does this feel? Moving power. See, that's the thing. I would want to have applied energistics unlocked here, or even here still. So one thing to note is it feels much better to automate single block machines than it does to automate multi-blocks. Multi-blocks is more passiving, like interfaces, export buses, etc., etc. All right, the more I think about it, the more I'm liking this change. Now, I do need to decide what to do with steel. Is steel going to be a chapter 3 metal? Part of me does like that, and part of me does not like that. If I do this, um, I I would still have, this is going to require some serious untangling. As far as magic mods, I think I'm going to say we move. Elemental craft makes so much more sense. We'll move elemental craft. All right, so I added back in the sequential fabricator and the pyrolyzer. Right now, this is a mess. Everything is not changed. This is just kind of visible. So this is going to take me a couple days at least to untangle all this. Hopefully you guys don't mind seeing some more pure deving. So the main question right now with this change is how exactly do I want to deal with the metal and alloy situation? Because right now, aluminum, like I said, aluminum is a tier 2, which would be switched to a tier 3 and be smeltable in the induction smelter. However, say we move everything back a tier. That means this takes titanium to make, which feels bizarre. So I could keep some of them the same and move some of them. But I'm not sure about that. So if you look here, you can see the tier 2 metals right now. We've got cobalt, aluminum, nickel, and mithril. And then tier 3, titanium, uranium, magnesium, and rune. If I were to do this particular change, we'd pretty much, like I said, need to move titanium to the beginning of this. We'd be shifting everything, or we'd be splitting up the metals into basically two groups, two arbitrary groups. Like tier 3, you know, it would pretty much be what is unlocked in tier 3. And then we'd have to either fill it in, scoot everything down a tier, right? And then insert. We'd either have to split these up, like I said. So say we do maybe aluminum and say mithril. And then we would have to either add to this tier or keep it like this. So yeah, that's definitely the main reason why not to do this, is the ores, or processing, or smelting, because right now the crusher is how you get the second tier of ore processing. This is just E grade processing, and then you have to refine it with the crumbler, which is, right now, it's not that hard to make. That would be changed, I would say. Alright, well that's going to be it for today. Hopefully you guys didn't mind this episode. I might not end up releasing it. We'll see. But hope you stick around. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, so after thinking it over, talking about it with Smart Noob, I decided to... Can I not select these? My middle mouse button is having issues, I think. Yo, I just killed a single blaze and got this. That is better. That's actually why I'm in the nether, to try to get some better armor. Did not expect that to happen though. There's a boss I'm gonna try to go kill. Found some zinc on the way, so that's awesome. I think this axe is better than my sword as well. It definitely attacks slower though. There was just this diamond chestplate lying on the ground. What in the world? I think that was the boss. So I don't see it anymore. No, it can't be, because it's not named. This is like even better. What in the world? What is going on? Still no pants though. So about the quests, I decided to move everything back the way they were, and work on adding a auxiliary quest line for chapter 2. That might not honestly stay still, but we'll see. It looks like blazes can just spawn in this biome based on the minimap. There's blazes like everywhere. Oh hey, some brown mushrooms. Kinda need these for food. Wait, what? I didn't get either of its drops. Still So there's a ancient debris sample here, which means there is a massive vein here. So I'm definitely going to bookmark this. And the drops seem to be ridiculously common. Alright, I'm going for this epic boss, and there's nothing you can do about it. Look at this, he made himself a hole for me already. Easiest epic boss fight of my life. Maybe he'll drop pants. Well, he didn't drop pants. Alright, I got a shield. I got that. Which I don't know if it's actually better than this. And then there's also one other thing. I think it's like a shader pack. Epic shader grab bag. Alright. After further review, I think I'm just going to make it like this for now. Everything at the bottom here is kind of optional, and then you can get to this without using them. Applied Energistics is not necessarily optional, but this way you don't have to do Power as well to get the Foundry. And then I've changed the recipe for the Foundry to require precision mechanisms instead of hardened capacitors. So hopefully that makes sense, and it stays that way. This chapter still feels a little bloated. These, I think Mana and Artifice is going to get its own chapter as well.